Good morning, YouTube and Facebook. My name is Jeff Blum. The author of the book is To Cross the Answer. It is September 15, 2013, and the title of today's 6-minute sermon is Part 2, How the Church Cursed America and the World. Part 2, How the Church Cursed America and the World. I want to thank Corey Smith, a dear friend of mine, for helping me with these sermons by giving me feedback. My purpose of the sermons, of course, is to make the gospel extremely simple, build a strong foundation, and let you know why it's important to be with God and walk by faith with God. I have some very exciting revelation God just shared with me today coming forward, giving me more and more sermons. When I think I'm done, he just pours out some great information. I try to keep it simple. So let's begin, okay? So, yes, last sermon we talked about sin consciousness and how that is a curse. Okay, and that puts us under the old covenant. So let's look at the old covenant and the new covenant with my hands, okay? So bear with me. My hands will be in front of the screen, okay? So let's call this right here the cross. Now here is your walk in life in front of the cross. This is the old covenant. This is when you're not born again. Now let's cross on the other side. This is when you are born again after you have been resurrected with Jesus. Okay, remember when you die on the cross, like Jesus, you are born again. Now, this is when you are resurrected, born again, resurrected. Remember that statement, okay? So, in front of the cross, not born again, resurrected, are born again. In front of the cross, Old Testament. After the cross, resurrection, New Testament or New Covenant. Old Covenant, Old Testament, New Covenant, New Testament, okay? So, if you understand that the cross delineates between the Old Covenant and the New Covenant, Old Testament and the New Testament, you know exactly how to read the Bible, okay? Now, the purpose of that illustration is to let you know which side sin consciousness has power. So let's look at it one more time. Here's the cross. In front of the cross, sin consciousness have power because of the old covenant. Okay? After the cross, sin consciousness has no power. It's just that simple. So, if you are living a life for God beyond the cross, new covenant means after the resurrection, then sin consciousness has no power on you and you don't have to fight that consciousness, which means you don't have to live under the curse. And why I'm making that statement is because anyone trying to tell you about anything to do with the sinful consciousness, if they're not telling you why you're under the new covenant and you've been delivered from that, they're putting you under a placement of judgment and condemnation in front of the cross. Okay, let's go back to the cross. In front of the cross, which causes you to not be able to go beyond the cross, and you are now living a life of condemnation, a sinful life away from God. Remember, on this side of the cross is where the new life with God begins, and on this side of the cross is where people are fighting to have a relationship with God, okay? You don't have to fight for a relationship with God if you have been born again. Very, very important to understand. Now, I have more sermons to go into the future, but this is the last thing I wanted to tell you about that how the church cursed America and the world with sin consciousness. I hope that your church is preaching the new covenant. Now, there are two sermons I want to preach in the future, and I want to tell you them right now, okay? About a little bit about them as a teaser. I don't know if I'm going to be on my main Facebook page any longer. I think I'm just going to go back to my Is to Cross the Answer book Facebook page, and of course you can find me on YouTube under Jeff Blum. But this is what I want to tell you. In the future, there are some wrong messages out there being preached about the soul not being born again, and I will break it down to you very simple why that is wrong, okay? It will put you in more condemnation than you can imagine, okay? You have been set free, and I will teach you about the new covenant, okay? And remember, God is the ultimate teacher. And with the new covenant comes such wonderful benefits. And I will challenge you. Your assignment, I think that will be a sermon for 2 weeks from now maybe. But your assignment will be this. Where do you find the laws of the new covenant in the Bible? See if you can answer that quandary. I'll be very interested to know. Outside of that, understand it's impossible to please God if you're not walking by faith. In order to walk by faith, you have to walk in the new covenant. In order to walk in the new covenant, you have to know where the new covenant is and where it begins. And once you understand that, you are well on your way to having an absolutely wonderful relationship with God. I don't like to confuse the Word of God. That's why my sermon is over now. I have 26 seconds, 25 and counting. And I just want to encourage you to keep watching these sermons. They're going to get easier and easier. If you have any questions, go back to an old sermon. Just email me, call me, it doesn't matter. And we could always talk about this. There's something coming in the future where Bibles will be gone. A new world order, a new world religion, and we got to be ready. Our new covenant must be on our hearts.